Trump, as I said in the course of the interview, has always emphatically denied any affair. She has emphatically said there was one. And there was, of course, undeniably, this NDA, which was agreed between them just before the 2016 election. So all those things are as they are. But the question is, was she released from that NDA? And before she was released, was she compelled to deny the affair? She said very strongly in the interview that in January 2018, when the Wall Street Journal, Washington Post, whichever one it was, broke the story about this deal that they'd done before.
Stormy Daniels sits down with an interview with Piers Morgan and Tucker Carlson.
She had to go along with denying any affair, otherwise she would be in breach of the NDA and she would have to pay $20 million. And she really believed that. So I think that's probably true. The question then is, what happened after that? Well, very quickly after that, she sued to be released from the NDA. And Donald Trump, because he hadn't signed the NDA himself, it was all done by others, including Michael Cohen, he actually, in that court process, when she sued, released her from the NDA, effectively, and said, look, I didn't sign it, and she's no longer has to abide by it. And on the back of that, she went out and did interviews, including with Anderson Cooper at CBS and others. And Donald Trump, to my knowledge, has taken no legal action against her or those networks as a result of her talking about what she says was the affair. So that's the chronology here. But what's interesting, Sean, I thought, my takeaway, was what she then said about this whole case. Because it doesn't really matter who you believe about the affair. That's not what this court case is now about. The court case is about whether there was some kind of cover-up, what the $130,000 was.
Please subscribe to see more.
And that is really what was at the center of what happened in Manhattan this week. I share your view, for what it's worth, that it's a massive overreach. And I think Stormy Daniels shares that view. And she's the woman at the center of the storming, if you like. And I think she shares the view that this is all a bit over the top. Are we really going to see an American president brought down and put in prison because of a relationship he may or may not have had with a porn star? It seems absurd. So I think that putting it all in context, Stormy Daniels is entitled to her opinions. Donald Trump is entitled to his emphatic denials. But ultimately, she shares the view of what I think is what most people think, which is that this is a huge overreach going on this case in Manhattan.
There is a timeline problem. And the timeline is this. She signs the NDA, fine. The election happens. The allegation is Donald Trump wanted Michael Cohen to do this, even though Michael Cohen himself or Michael Cohen's lawyer said they did it without the knowledge of the Trump campaign or the Trump organization. Now, the timeline is the money paid to Michael Cohen listed in the indictment all happened in 2017. Okay, so that would have been after the Michael Cohen agreement with Stormy. But the problem for them then becomes 2018, in February, when Michael Cohen's lawyer writes a letter to the FEC saying that the Trump organization, the Trump campaign, had absolutely nothing to do with this deal. This was between Michael and Stormy. So I think they had a big timeline problem. Do you see that?
Well, listen, it's very complicated.
Please subscribe for more.
It's not that complicated. You got all the payments were 2017. In 2018, they denied any payment was ever made by the Trump organization or the Trump campaign.
Yeah. No, I'm not talking about the intricacies of what's happened in Manhattan. I'm talking about the timeline, which is Stormy Daniels sues to be released from the NDA, and Donald Trump allows her to be released from the NDA. That's the timeline she sticks to as to why she then came out and was allowed to speak. And I think that's probably accurate.
Generally speaking, last question.
The timeline you talked about, that's a different issue. Yeah.
Okay. If an NDA, people enter into an NDA, should that be respected? In other words, you make a deal, you make a decision, you sign your name. At that point, you accept money. Why shouldn't that be a valid legal document?
Well, it absolutely should be. But bear in mind, Sean, she did actually win that case. It was dismissed. She was declared the winner. In fact, all the money that she owes Donald Trump when she sued him for defamation, actually, some of the money won't be paid because she's owed that by the Trump side for the NDA case she fought, which she was actually deemed to be the successor on. So it is complicated. And I think she was entitled to go and tell her story, albeit I don't the story that she tells is the true one.
All right. Here's Morgan. You've had some phenomenal interviews lately.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe. See you tomorrow.